Bestie, pick up. World Cup dispatch from the emotional frontlines. We need to discuss the fact that this tournament slipped the leash very quickly because in the last 2 weeks alone, we've had geopolitical incidents, internet conspiracy theories, hair based tragedy, a goalkeeper making a save with his massive aura, and an entire nation accidentally becoming the main character. I was promised sports. This feels significantly closer to an international fever dream. With pink shoes. I'm Lonnie, your unhinged soccer bestie, and this is everything I felt while experiencing weeks 3 and 4 of the biggest sporting event in the world. Let's start with the American elephant in the room, because the US experienced all 5 stages of grief in approximately 6 days. Oh, for 3 beautiful weeks, the rest of the world appeared to be warming up to us. Visitors discovered we're basically golden retrievers with ranch dressing and aggressive air conditioning. America had finally started getting invited to the football group chat. The host cities were buzzing. The comments were weirdly wholesome. We were actually winning. Our belief levels were medically concerning. But then the scandal came. One orange phone call, and suddenly the entire football world looked at us like, oh, there she is. And collectively, American soccer fans screamed, no, 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 not like this. Because, yes, we thought Balogun's red card was harsh. Slow motion can make an accident look like attempted murder. But bad calls happen in football all the time. Apparently, accepting that the referee could ruin your entire summer is part of the membership fee. And contrary to what much of the internet seemed to believe, most American fans were not celebrating. I was in Seattle for the game. I got to talk to a lot of American soccer fans. We were mortified. We didn't want special treatment. We wanted credibility. We wanted respect. We wanted to prove that we belong without somebody powerful calling the school board. Instead, we look like the spoiled rich kid whose dad called to change the grade. And all of that kumbaya vanished into thin air, which was deeply inconvenient because we had spent weeks, decades really, insisting, no, but for real, we're trying to earn this. And the cruelest part, if Balogun had simply missed the match, America had the emotional advantage. We were the plucky underdogs who had been wronged by a harsh red. Then suddenly, Belgium had the righteous fury. They came onto that field like they had spent 48 hours reading comments and beat us like they were restoring international order. Yeah, Belgium entered that match like they were powered entirely by spite, which, to be fair, is a renewable energy source. Then, their national official account posted, overturn this. Bestie, sometimes you defend your country, and sometimes you quietly close the app and go hydrate. Speaking of things America is still figuring out, our commentary. I swear, like 6 minutes into the Bosnia game, an American commentator was like, you know what would be great right now? Another goal! Sir, thank you. I have spent years listening to British commentators say things like,
the stage is set, the script is written, we're awaiting a star to deliver the line.
Meanwhile, America's over here like, another point would put us ahead. No wonder our chants suck. But real quick, for my international besties, do y'all give Canadians and Australians as much crap for calling it soccer as you do us Americans? Because, like, the English, who invented modern association football, called it soccer first and then brought it over here. And they were like, here's soccer. And we already had a sport that we called football. And I guess we could have called that one gridiron and the round ball football because we play it with our feet. But they didn't ask me, okay? And I didn't start it. So be nice to me. I love you. Anyway, babe, the emotional blows kept coming. in a minute, I'm going to talk about Netherlands and Cabo Verde. But first, what was this? Over in Croatia versus Portugal, a goal got overturned by what can only be described as an aggressive hare, which leads me to my prediction for fall 2026 football fashion. Bald. Just completely waxed. Baby smooth. You heard it here first. And naturally, the internet immediately decided that FIFA is rigging the tournament. Because if there's one thing that soccer fans love more than football, it's conspiracy theories about football. Apparently, FIFA wanted a Messi versus Ronaldo final, or Argentina versus Portugal. Then France. Now Spain. Honestly, I stopped taking notes. The red string board in some of these subreddits belongs in a true crime documentary. Whew, okay. And then there was Iran. And one thing that nobody tells you about the World Cup is that eventually you run into geopolitics. Entire countries bring things onto the field that have absolutely nothing to do with sport, and yet everything to do with sport. Watching Iran's hopes rise and fall, and then rise again and fall again, with everything else happening outside the stadium, felt impossible to separate. And with the Algeria-Austria game deciding their fates, multiple conspiracy theories and ghosts from 1982 immediately pulled up a chair. But if one country captured the soul of this tournament, it was Cape Verde. Bestie, I have to talk about Cabo Verde because I think they broke me. Our emotional support country, holding their own against the reigning champions, Argentina. Messi! You go into it saying, maybe they can keep it close and I can keep it together. And then suddenly, you're screaming at the television like you've held citizenship your entire life. Vozinha was out there making saves with every available body part. At one point, he blocked a goal with his entire bloodline. And it went into extra time. And hot take maybe, but I truly believe that if not for that own goal, if it had gone to penalties, Cabo Verde could have won. Argentina would have been out. Could you imagine? But what do I know? And then the post-game coverage happened. Thierry Henry says, "The story is and always will be Cabo Verde." Zlatan says, "Sometimes people remember the beautiful story more than the big moments." Yeah, that's the World Cup. Sometimes teams leave the tournament before they leave you. Yet it was the Netherlands-Morocco game that had me in tears. Cody Gakpo. I know Cody Gakpo because my husband follows the Premier League. He's been in my living room for years. I've watched wholesome stories about him against my will. So, after 72 agonizing minutes of a 0-0 game, Cody scores. And immediately falls to his knees. Because just days before the tournament, he and his partner Noah lost their unborn baby. And before I can process what's happening, his team are on him, not celebrating the goal, holding him together, physically. They practically dogpile him with love. And then the referee starts trying to restart the game. And Virgil Van Dijk basically turns around and goes, "Absolutely not. Not today." He literally shoos the referee away. Like, give him a minute. Respect. And hot. Respectfully. Bestie, that's why I keep saying, don't just watch the ball. Watch the people. 3 weeks ago, I would have just seen a goal. Now I see the story that walked onto the field with him. Luis Diaz gave us another one of those moments. Scoring and then celebrating with Diogo Jota's Papa Shark, his teammate, Cody Gakpo's teammate, on the anniversary of his tragic death. I might talk about Diogo Jota in another video, but I promised this wouldn't be Lonnie's crying channel. So for now, just know the goal belonged to the match, the celebration belonged to someone who was missing. And then there was England versus Mexico, which proves something very important. You do not need to understand soccer to recognize beef. It was the first match of the tournament that required absolutely zero emotional subtitles. The tension translated itself. This one simply asked, "Can you detect hostility?" The answer is yes. The tension, the noise, the feeling that someone might commit a misdemeanor at any moment. Meanwhile, America's standing awkwardly in the corner like, our CONCACAF final boss versus the country we broke up with in 1776. This one feels private. And here's the thing. A month ago, I thought I needed to learn soccer. Instead, I accidentally learned humanity. And that seems to be the theme here. The World Cup keeps pretending it's a tournament. But actually, it's a pressure valve for every feeling a country has been carrying. Grief, joy, history, politics, revenge, and hope. Welcome to Unhinged United, where we lovingly roast soccer while becoming increasingly emotionally compromised by it. Send this video to a bestie who could use the emotional subtitles. Catch up on my other World Cup dispatches from the emotional frontline. Weeks 5 and 6 were even crazier, so stay tuned for that. And the drama continues after the World Cup. There is so much more coming, because the rules were never the hard part. The feelings are. Love you. Bye.